Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well day or night whenever you tune in here and see this video. This is going to be a general reading for air sign Aquarius. All right, it is a timeless reading, and since it's general as well, it could carry themes like love, work, friends, family, health, money, all forms of abundance, etc. And is it also a timeless reading, meaning that it could resonate for you, even if you are not a sun sign Aquarius or rising sign Aquarius or have your moon in Aquarius, as we all have Aquarius somewhere in our birth chart. All right, so all are welcome here. So I pulled all your cards and we're going to get into it in just a moment here, Aquarius. I just wanted to go over a couple of things, and I do apologize for the reading coming out a little later than I originally wanted to, but all divine timing, right? And so what I'll probably do for the next series of readings is go backwards through the signs, starting with Pisces, and then Aquarius, you guys will be third. Okay, so because I'll go Taurus, Pisces, Aquarius, since shortly in a couple of days or so, by the 19th, we'll officially be in Taurus season. So that's why I'll start with Taurus, but then go backwards through the rest of the signs, okay, in order. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to welcome everybody, of course, whether you're coming back or you're new, everybody's welcome. And thank you for your energy. And yeah, I wanted to let you guys know that I will be taking one photo at the end of all the cards here in case you want to see it more up close in detail. Hermes, sorry, 1 second, guys. My dog is scratching. Sit down. You're making so much noise. Relax. So if you want to check out the photo after the live is done, all you have to do is click in the description box below and follow the instructions there on how to see it on my Facebook page. It's really easy, but it's just down below in the description box. So yeah, with all that being said, let's go ahead and do a quick sound bell here for some grounding and healing for the reading, and then we'll get into it. So just be aware, I got a new thing with some felt on it, so it is a little quieter and more of a smooth sound, hopefully. But just be aware it still gets pretty loud if you're sensitive to that or listening with headphones or something like that. So if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out whenever, or you can just listen and breathe normally. All right, here we go. All right, Aquarius. So yeah, I guess I can put this in the corner back here out of the way so you can still kind of see the general placement of the cards. So yeah, hopefully you can still kind of see where everything is at. All right, so we are going to go back a little bit in time, depending, of course, on when you're watching this reading. Since I did say it's timeless, that means it can resonate for some people. As an example, 6 months in the past or 6 months in the future, a year in the past, a year in the future, and it can go forward, it can go backward, less or more in both directions, okay, since time is fluid and relative. So you may be watching this reading next year in 2023, back in March. So that's why, I don't know when people will be watching. So with that being said, we're going to start in the center and then work outwards. I'm using 2 different decks. So we'll talk about your tarot confirmation cards. And then we'll also talk about what's on the top and the bottom of each deck to get even more insight. And then at the end, I have a couple oracle cards here for you as well. But let's talk about what these 3 rows in the center mean, okay, as far as like a rough idea of timing. So we're going to say that this first row here could be energy around March 19th through the end of March, so March 31st or so. Again, it could be a little bit before, a little bit after. Then this second row here would be energy from around April 1st through April 9th, okay? And then the third row could be energy around April 9th through about April 19th or so, okay? So I'll try to remember as we're on each row to bring up the dates again, if I remember to do that. All right, but I did want to talk about really quickly also some of the other zodiac sign energies that I do see here present in your reading, Aquarius. You did show up in your own reading to your official tarot card, the Star. So that's always cool. When you show up in your own reading, it's a good omen, okay? But you also had 5 other major arcanas. So what does that speak of? If you've seen me before, you know, but if you're new and you're not necessarily familiar with tarot, this can speak of significant amount of change. It could be coming up for you. It hasn't started. It could have already started, part of it, or it could have been all the way in the past, or some happening now, or some in the future, right? It'd be different for everybody. But that's kind of what's going on when you have a lot of majors in your reading. Even if you're using 2 different decks, it's, you know, can be unique, because sometimes in other readings only have 1 or 2 majors. Lately, for this time period from March 19th through April 19th, a lot of the other signs were having a fair amount of major arcanas as well. So it can speak of changes for everybody across the board. It can talk about astrology for this time period. It can talk about the collective unconscious, or it can be that you're dealing with some of these other zodiac signs if you're dealing with one person or multiple people, or you have some of those signs predominantly in your birth chart, or they do, or it doesn't have to mean anything at all, right? You could just be like, that doesn't necessarily resonate with me, and that's okay. But let's go ahead before we go forward deep into your reading and talk about the other majors and what other zodiac signs are here, okay? Excuse me. So we have Virgo energy with the Hermit. We have Leo energy with the Strength card. I said you have Aquarius, that's your energy. We have the Tower, which is Scorpio energy. We have Gemini, which is the Lovers card officially here. And then we also have the World card. Okay, so the World card actually in one card represents 4 different zodiac signs, and some of them it's been repeated already. So we have Leo energy again with the World card. We have Scorpio again with the World card. We have Aquarius again with the World card. And then the only new kind of zodiac sign here is the Taurus energy with the World card. Okay. So I'll try to mention those signs again when we're on those particular cards. But again, let's go forward into your reading though, because I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I try to remember to do it at some point. Okay. All right. So we talked about what the rows mean. We talk about the majors. So let's go ahead and call out your other cards in order in the center and then start. So you start off with the King of Staves in the right side up position, also known as King of Wands right side up. You have the Hermit right side up. You have the Strength card right side up. You have the World in reverse. You have 2 of Sacred Circles right side up, also known as 2 of Pentacles right side up. You have the Princess of Cups in the reverse position. You have the 2 of Staves or 2 of Wands right side up. You have the 5 of Sacred Circles or 5 of Pentacles right side up. And then you have the King of Sacred Circles or King of Pentacles in the reverse position. And then we'll talk about the other ones later. So I was just doing the ones in the center for now, okay? So, you know, I would say, you know, right off the bat that you definitely have, as far as not your majors, but your minor arcana, you have a lot of pentacles or sacred circles, and you have a lot of wands, okay? So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, okay, 3 wands. How many pentacles? We have 1, 2, 3 pentacles. Okay, so that's kind of a tie. And then let's see, swords. We have 2 swords. For cups, we have 2 cups. Okay, so wait, no, 3 cups. 3 cups, sorry. Okay, so yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of everything here in your reading. Why does that matter? Why does the majority of the minor arcana matter? Sometimes it can give us even more insight into underlying theme here in your reading. So generally, like when we talk about the pentacles or the sacred circles, that would be about money, wealth, but not only that, what you value, how others value your time, you value their time, etc. There, right? Um, and then the cups would be our emotions, right? So something going on emotionally. Again, it can be around issues of value, but doesn't necessarily have to be. And then what was the other one? Oh, yes. And then the wands, since you also had three wands, right? One, two, three. Yes. So wands talk about our defenses. As an example, I always like to say, are our defenses too high, where we're blocking our own abundance, or are our defenses too low, where we're being vulnerable and seen as vulnerable? Our defenses, as far as issues of health, can be also our immune system, immune defenses, that kind of thing. So that's just something to think about. But again, it will be different for everyone since it's a general reading. But let's go ahead and finally get up in here. They're like, oh my God, she ever gonna start? So here we go. Well, it's all, we kind of started already, but just on different levels, right? So your first official card here, though, is the King of Staves or the King of Wands in the right side up position. And this definitely has some fiery, energy here as well, right? With the lines here on both sides, we think of Leo energy. We have the official Leo card here later. But just generally, when we looked at that first row, remember we were saying it was the last 2 weeks or so of March, or even the first week or 2 weeks of April, right? It was different for everybody. But here this speaks of this very confident energy, this supportive energy, and this leveling up energy, or someone being um, at the top of their game in whatever it is that they do, or just how they naturally present themselves to others, right? Since he is a king, okay? He's not a page or a knight or a prince that would be underneath him, okay? And he is really confident and he's supported. His kingdom supports him. He's got his staff, right? He's got people he delegates tasks to, so he can make hard decisions and be in that role of authority in some way. Okay, but he also has that Leo energy, so it can also speak of passion and creativity and courage. Okay, so this could be you yourself, Aquarius, or it could be a person you're dealing with, or multiple people, general environment, situation, astrology, or just again someone around you is trying to bring out those qualities for you, or be a mentor in some way. But let's keep going here. Now, as your second card, we have the Hermit in the right side up position. And this is some Virgo energy here. It's official Virgo card, right? But this is a great energy talking about going within and finding your own answers and using your own intuition, your inner guidance system, your gut reaction to things. Like if you first meet somebody, or your first reaction to anything, not just necessarily a person, right? So it's trusting that. And I always think of the Hermit card is really similar to the High Priestess card. So it speaks of knowing yourself, right? And trusting your own reactions to things, okay? Now, this also can be a little bit of, people sometimes say the Hermit can be a lonely kind of energy because he's by himself at the edge of the cliff. But it can just be energetically, spiritually, it can be socially, right? But it's separating from others in some way, energetically, spiritually, or physically, socially, to hear your own intuition. Okay, Aquarius, or for the other person to hear their own intuition, or multiple people to hear their own intuition in some way. So it's a slowing down of energy, but it's still progress. It's just not necessarily seen as what society would say is progress, as far as action on the outside. Okay, so it's more inner work, right? Shadow work, all that stuff, spiritual growth, okay, those kind of things. So it does support the outer progress and action, but it's just, I would say that since we're going from the King of Staves right side up to then the Hermit, this guy can't be a king unless he, trusts his own intuition. A lot of people and advisors to the king or someone in a position of authority are going to come and be like, you got to do it like this, or if you do this to this country or this group of people, this is going to happen. But at the end of the day, he also, if he's a good leader, is going to trust his own intuition as well. All right, so moving forward here, we have your third card, that Leo energy again. So look, put it together. You got 3 lions, okay? Not only 2, but 3. So this is, a metaphor of, excuse me, talking more about, like, again, our inner strength or our spiritual strength, okay? Yes, it can be physical strength, of course, because in other decks, you see this woman wrestling with the lion to pry his mouth open, okay? And here she just kind of, has her arm around his, okay? Or maybe it's a female lion, who knows, right? But it looks like a male lion, I don't know. But it talks about more of the spiritual or metaphor of having strength and courage and passion and creativity, right? And this could be, like I said, it could be physical strength or action that we see in the 3D world, the physical world, or it can be 5D strength, or it can be both, right? It really will depend on everybody. But here she also has the infinity over her head, much like you would also see in the Magician card. So she has the ability to manifest whatever it is she wants in her life, okay? So it looks like here, if we're just looking at the first row, that the last 2 weeks or so of March, there was some really nice energy or complementary energy happening here for you, Aquarius, or people around you or that you're dealing with. All right. Now moving forward, though, we do have that World card in the reverse position, and that's the first card in your second row. So that could have been around the first week or so of April, right? But it could just be something as simple as an energetic blockage or challenge or stagnant energy with the World in the reverse position. It could also have been a symbol from the universe, your spirit guides, whatever you want to call it, right? Of saying maybe it's not the right time for something because the World, almost like the Wheel of Fortune, is that circular motion. It's always turning, but when it's in reverse, it's like that energy has kind of stopped. So it's a little bit of that stagnant energy for some. Now, again, the energies that show up in this card as far as other zodiac energies is Scorpio, you, Aquarius, and then with Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. Okay, so it could mean something to you, but it doesn't have to be. All right, but when this World shows up in the reverse position following the Strength card, and you write in the first beginning of your reading, you have like 3 major arcanas back to back. Remember, a lot of change, or can be. It's almost like, and we'll know when we talk about, what's on the top and the bottom of your deck here with this card, maybe why it's in the reverse position, but it feels like maybe somebody felt a lot of pressure in some way, and maybe they retreated, or they felt that things were going not necessarily like too good or too well, but there's something here where it's just like that, again, a slowing down of energy to a complete stop, okay? And it could be that maybe things, right, when we talk about the 3 majors back to back, maybe things were moving too fast, okay? For somebody here, Aquarius, could be you yourself or a person you're dealing with, multiple people, general environment situation. But that's kind of how I feel it, like maybe it was just a little bit of too many changes at once. So when I say that because there's a lot of majors, that means a lot of change. Well, they can be good changes, they can be bad changes, it can be both. It can be big changes, it can be small changes, it can be medium-sized changes, right? But really with this World in the reverse position, and then we're going to talk about these other 2 cards along with it, it feels like maybe it was just too much change at once, okay? So here we're going to talk about what's in the top and the bottom of the same deck, okay, get more insight. So these two cards represent energy from the way back past, whatever that means for you. So it could be from a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks, months, years, etc., okay? But what we have is the Queen of Staves this time in the right side up position, also known as Queen of Wands on the top of your deck. And on the bottom of your deck, we have the Tower in the reverse position, okay? So I'll just hold this other one here too, because we're talking about these all together, right? And so it's like in some ways here, Aquarius, in the way back past, whatever that means for you, there was a feeling of wanting to be royal, of somebody wanting to step into their own power. Remember, the Queen of Staves or Queen of Wands is the counterpart to the King of Wands, right? And so it's like, yes, I want to be a leader and help others. Or if I'm not actually in a position of authority or leadership, I want to be the best me that I can be and be confident, right? She even has her eyes closed here, which I always like to say is when we talk about animals and predators and prey, she wouldn't be able to get into this meditative state to work on her emotions, which represents her emotions, the Nile River in the background, the water. She wouldn't be able to channel those things into something positive if she didn't have a lot of people supporting her, just like how they support the king. So she wouldn't be able to even take a rest and close and have her eyes and have that meditative energy if she wasn't having a lot of support around her. So, you know, in other tarot decks and even in these two decks here that we have for your reading, sometimes you'll see the king and queen and they're leaning against the back of their chair. And so that chair, whether it's a big chair or a small chair, represents somebody having their literal back. So their support system, their friends, family, lover, mental health care worker, etc., like whatever that is, right? And so even though all of that is like a very progressive energy in the past here, Aquarius, then you also have with it kind of this counter energy of the Tower in the reverse position, okay? And again, we're talking about it with the World in reverse. Why is the World in reverse? Well, somebody here in the way back past in some way was resisting change also. Remember how I was saying you had the Hermit, Strength, and then the World in reverse. So change, okay? Maybe somebody was like, that is too much damn change at once. But even if it wasn't you yourself, Aquarius, it could be the collective unconscious, it could be the astrology, it could be people you work with, your family, friends, whatever, lovers, etc., right? But it's almost like, you know, change is hard for everybody, right? It is like a known truth that you can either go with these changes, whether they're good or bad, and try to embrace them and find something positive somewhere in there, right? Or if you resist the change, it's going to be even harder for you, yourself, and for others, right? So it's like, don't, what do they say, swim against the tide, right? So when the Tower is in the reverse position from the recent past, this, let me put it right side up just so you can see it. This represents enlightenment, the crown chakra, the top of the tower, your head, right? So this represents, or it can represent, along with a change, right? Spiritual downloads, revelations. I finally get it. I finally understand something now. But there was a hesitancy or refusal or just somebody not wanting to change the way that they look at something or think about something here. And so it could be, you know, when it shows up again with the World in reverse, that maybe somebody or an energy, if it's not necessarily a person, is triggered back to something that they did in the past. If it's a behavior, a way of, or viewpoint, a way of philosophy, or philosophy of life. Maybe it's just like, I don't feel like it's that. I feel like if the Tower was right side up to go along with the Hermit and the Strength card, and then if the World was right side up too, it would be like one change after the other, after the other. It would be like a nonstop. First lightning storm and these spiritual downloads and revelations. And, you know, everybody does learn in in different ways and different time and pace. Okay, the speed of things happening. So maybe the Tower from the way back past being in the reverse position and talking about it with the world in reverse. Maybe it's just simply there was too much going on at once. Okay, but let's keep going forward. I think we spent enough time on that theme there. Okay, because you still have some other really great cards, and I always say that they can be energetic blockages or gentle reminders or challenges throughout every reading for everybody and throughout their life, right? So it's not the end of the world. So let's keep going here. Now we have your fifth card, the Two of Sacred Circles in the right side up position. Now this kind of reinforces what we were just talking about, okay? So this could be saying that in the middle of the first week or two of April, there was a lot of possibly, and still is for some, right? Like a juggling of priorities and responsibilities. This is a Two of Pentacles. Okay, the sacred circles are also known as pentacles. So it's not a 6 or an 8 or a 10 of pentacles, right? So when we're talking about money or abundance, other forms of abundance, whatever it is you want to manifest in your life, love, health, all those things, right? Business, whatever. It's like, okay, I'm slowly stacking my abundance. I only have 2 coins or 2 pentacles or 2 sacred circles, but I'm making my way. How can I ask to have more strength? And how can I build more money and love and business and etc. Right? So here we see this, the back of this Native American man's head, and he's calling on to the bear spirit. And okay, if you turn it on its side here, you also see, the figure 8 symbol again that we saw here at the top of the strength card. Okay, so the figure 8, right? That's that infinity symbol. Hopefully you can see it there in the clouds, right? So that means manifestation. It means endless energy. It's the figure 8, right? It's the loop, or whatever you want to call it. So this energy of this card is trying, or this person, or it could be just an energy too, is trying to manifest. How can I not be juggling and struggling so much? How can I build more wealth, better health, more love, business, etc.? So they're calling on the bear spirit. Okay, so the bear not only is known for its size, that it's stepping into its power, right? But it's also like when we think of the winter, okay, regardless of where you are in the world and what season it is, right? But the bear spirit can go and weather a difficult storm. So the storm can be a metaphor for life or times of your life, right? Hopefully it's not always a storm, right? But the bear spirit would know how to save their resources for the long winter so they have enough to eat, because they're going to stay in the cave, right? So it's also like, how do you save your energy if you have a really big project coming up, or you're working on your health in general, or how can you not overgive to others all of your love so you have some love left over for yourself, all those things, right? So this just kind of like reinforces lots of change happening, and then like having maybe a little bit of a harder time dealing with the changes while still wanting to manifest other things, going on. And because it's also in this Two of Sacred Circles is in the second row, and that's like the first week of April, right? Every new month, right? People pay their bills, of course, at different times, but you have the new set of bills coming up, right? Whether you pay your rent on the first of the month or the 20th of the month is like the new cycle. So this could also be like added on to that, but not just in terms of money, right? But lots of different things. It could just be the new month, the new year, right? Because technically also too, we're in Aries season now, right? So we're talking about, some people look at the Aries season as, because of the first sign in the zodiac, it would be the zodiac new year. Okay, so new month, new year, however you look at it, this could be universal themes going on here to kind of back up that energy as well. All right, moving forward though, your sixth card and the last one in the second row is the Princess of Cups in the reverse position. Now, this Princess of Cups, if you've been watching me before, or even just this set of series of readings for March 19th through April 19th, she was showing up, and even before that too, last month, she was showing up as well. So if I wanted to put, an energy of the Princess of Cups, it would be Pisces energy, whether she's right side up or reversed, okay? And I'll tell you why in a second. But well, I'll just tell you now. Okay, basically, because if you're looking at the card right side up, the moon is in the background. So the moon in the tarot would actually be Pisces energy, okay? And since we just finished Pisces season and now we're in Aries season, it could just be having something to do with, again, the collective unconscious or general astrology. But typically what we'll say, we'll put that aside, I'll talk about that in a second, is that the Princess of Cups in the reverse position is a little bit of an energetic blockage or stagnant energy again, okay? There could be, it's almost like you go from the world in reverse to then the Two of Sacred Circles right side up, so movement again, but slow movement, to then a Princess of Cups in reverse. Sorry, let me turn this down. I just have music on for the dogs. So this is like a little bit of back and forth energy, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of deal here, possibly for some. But everything is divine timing, right? And lessons and reasons why things go down the way they do, even if they're painful or annoying. But, with the Princess of Cups in reverse, it could be also somebody is not wanting to look at something or a person or an energy if they were like, a young person that's still learning, like a princess or a prince or a knight, okay? Because they're not a king or a queen yet, so they're open to learning new things. So when the Princess of Cups is in the reverse position, it could be simply an energy for some that there's something going on emotionally, because it is a Cups card, where they don't want to look at something in an emotional, different point of view or way. They may be stuck in their ways emotionally in some way. It could be yourself here, Aquarius, or somebody you're dealing with, or multiple people, general environment, right? But it could also be that somebody is still stuck in the moon energy if it was right side up, okay? So not the card, not the Princess of Cups right side up, but let's just look at the moon, right? When we think of the moon, I like to use the example of the coat hanger. So you're staying at someone's house that you've never stayed there before, and you're going to bed and you're turning all the lights off, and the coat hanger now looks like a monster or a person or what have you. It doesn't look like a coat hanger. But if you turn the light on, again, you see it's a coat hanger, okay? So the moon card, that Pisces energy, if it was right side up, would be not seeing things clearly. The light's off still, okay? So when it shows up, the Princess of Cups in the reverse position, it could be that somebody's still stuck in that moon energy where the light is off. They don't have enough information. So the light and the information are kind of a metaphor for both, right? So if you even think of terms of photography, right? Light is information in the negative, or digital photography, all that stuff is information. It's pixels, all that, okay? So there's not enough pixels or information. So somebody could still be emotionally confused about something because they don't have all the information yet. And it could be also because they're not willing emotionally to see something from a new perspective. For some, it could be that they're not quite ready to level up in some way. If the Princess of Cups was right side up, right, she would be like, oh, where did the queen go? She's over here. I just want a different queen, but just as an example, right? So she'd be like, oh, one day I'm gonna be like my sister and I'm gonna be a queen, okay? So she's wanting to level up in some area of her life, whether it's a relationship, going to the next stage, or your health, or your money, or your business, or your friends, whatever it is, right? But because she's reversed, somebody or some energy doesn't want to level up yet. They don't want to be the queen yet. They still need to learn something here emotionally, okay? It could also be for some because we do have coming up on April 16th, um, is the full moon in, I think it's the full moon in Libra coming up. And today's the 5th. So yeah, the 5th of April. So that's the other thing I was saying. Since this card was showing up in a lot of the other readings and for this time period and even last month, it could be also referring to, for some, something that maybe started the last full moon, or it could be many moons ago, or it has something to do, because the last full moon of March was in Virgo, and then the new moon coming up is in Libra. Okay, so there could be something going on there too. But I would just take it as kind of, sorry guys, the general, meaning of the card. If the other stuff resonates too, that's cool. But like I said, it could just be an energetic blockage or a reminder or challenge here. But let's keep going forward, all right? Because now we're getting into your last row in the center here. Music, animals are being goofy, and the dog is chasing the cat around. All right. I love that song. You guys know what I'm talking about, the one from the 70s, The Dog Chases the Cat, or Atomic Dog or something. Okay, anyway, let's get into your third row here. So this could be energy around, what did I say, April 9th through April 19th or so, okay? So here we go from the Princess of Cups in reverse, the energetic blockage, to now things are starting to move again, okay? Maybe not at a super fast pace, but we are starting to move forward. When we see this Two of Staves or Two of Wands, as it's also known, we see the back of this Egyptian woman's head. She's looking at the Nile River. She's watching the ships go by, all right? So she's doing her people watching. So it's not like an energy of go, 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 action, action. It's more like the Hermit card, where we're doing inner work. We're doing shadow work before we're making a decision or moving forward with big physical action in the 3D world, let's say, okay? So she's doing her research. She's doing her people watching. She's asking people for advice, perhaps, of like, well, if that's your ship, where is your ship going? And if my ship was going with your ship, and blah, 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 right? It's just doing that research, taking some time to also unwind a little bit, right? So anytime you go from an energetic block or stagnant energy or challenge to then shifting out of that, it's always cool when it's a little bit more gradual, right? So you're not going from an energetic blockage to like running really fast, right? So you're kind of, you're slowly standing up and stretching first, okay? So that's kind of how I see this energy that we're talking about for that third week or so of April, maybe even beyond or before, right? Now here, moving forward, this card definitely makes sense too. We have the Five of Sacred Circles in the right side up position. This is like a very, it can be for some spiritual energy to this reading, Aquarius, okay? Because remember I said you had half pentacles. I think you had a tie. You had 3 ties, actually. You had 3 pentacles as far as the minor arcana. You had 3 swords and you have 3 wands. So that was like money, wealth, abundance. What do we value? People's time, my time, vice versa. Defense systems are the wands. Am I being too defensive? Am I not being defensive enough? What's going on with my immune defense system in my body? And then the swords represent the intellect in the tarot. So am I being too much up in my head? Am I not being up in my head enough, right? So it's like there's like this underlying kind of searching for answers, right? So this Five of Sacred Circles or Five of Pentacles, if you put it with the Hermit card, or even going back to your last one, the Two of Staves, like all 3 of them talk about this searching for answers, right? Going within, okay? Now, particularly with the Five of Sacred Circles, here you see these 2 Native American women. One is opening the hut for this female woman shaman to come out. Hopefully the card will focus there. And their hut is all the way off from the rest of the people in the group, okay? So there's like some type of It could be a spiritual rite of passage, but it could just be a spiritual ritual. It could be a retreat, right? But it's really like, how can I, okay, as an example, right, we talk about Native American culture in olden times, right? I'm not Native American myself, and I can't comment on what still goes on or doesn't go on. But when we talk about in older times, right, the shaman, a male or female, was the medicine woman, medicine man, and that was who you went to when you were sick, whether you're physically sick, emotionally sick, spiritually sick. Okay, that was that person that had the knowledge that not necessarily you had or another person had. Okay, so that's kind of another way you can take this card here too. But it also is progress in general, right? It is not Seven of Pentacles or Seven of Sacred Circles is not 10 of Pentacles. Okay, it's 5. So you go from, what was your last one? Shh. No. Sorry, hold on, guys. Hey, no. You went from the 2 of Sacred Circles, remember? The first week of April, your second row, to now 5. So even in those 2 cards, there's progress there. Okay, so maybe it's just, again, like the Hermit, like the 2 of Staves, going inward, taking a break, whether it's energetically, socially, or even physically, right, from other people to maybe get that spiritual retreat or rest or spiritual advice or whatever it is it means to be spiritual to you, right, Aquarius, or to the other person that you're dealing with. There are multiple people. But I do see it as a good placement here, especially with the other cards. All right. But let's keep moving forward here. Now, your 9th card in the last one in the center here is the King of Sacred Circles is now in reverse. Okay, so it's almost like for some, it's very similar energy, or can be similar energy to the Tower in reverse that you had from your way back past. Okay. Maybe somebody isn't feeling all the way abundant. They don't feel like they have enough money, or they're making enough money. They're having a hard time manifesting whatever it is they want in their life: money, love, health, okay, all those things, right? It's kind of having a harder time or resistance to that. And we'll talk about it with what's on the top and the bottom of your other deck here in just a moment to get even more insight. But I say that it's like the Tower in reverse because what's all the way in the background there, if you can see behind this King Native American man, there's lightning, there's the storm. Lightning in the Tower in reverse from the past, the way back past. But this one came out reversed too. So it's almost like somebody is resisting or having a hesitancy to becoming a leader in some way, to becoming more confident in themselves. Or also, this card represents a passing down to the younger generation something of importance, if it was right side up, but it's reversed. So maybe it is a hesitancy or a blockage, or, you know, a challenge, right, of like feeling worthy in yourself, you yourself, Aquarius, or the other person, or multiple people, or just an energy of do I have something worthy to give to the younger generations, right? This guy's got white hair, he's older, he's of a certain age, but not only because of that, but because he's a king, right? So what's his legacy going to be? So it could be also, because it's in the reverse position, talking about somebody maybe not feeling confident in their legacy in some way. Again, it could be about their money, leaving behind an inheritance, right? Or it could be about a spiritual inheritance or spiritual lesson, or love, or health, business, whatever, right? Friends, family. So there's just a little bit of that energetic blockage. So let's look back and see maybe why this may be coming up. So we have the Two of Swords in reverse position from the way back past. Again, Will be different for everybody. It could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years. All right. And then we also have the Knight of Cups in reverse position on the bottom of your deck here in relation to that King of Sacred Circles or King of Pentacles in reverse. All right. So it looks like here, possibly the reason why this King of Sacred Circles is in reverse is because in the way back past here, excuse me, somebody was perhaps not, they were still mentally confused about something with the swords in the reverse position. So that represents, it could be anxiety, worry, overthinking, or just being mentally confused about something. It could be they were putting off a decision because they were having a hard time dealing with their emotions in some way, as far as integrating their heart chakra, their emotions, with their logical mind, their crown chakra, and the swords. Okay. So that's kind of what this would be if it was right side up. Learning to shut off one sense and bring in the other. Okay. So if she's blindfolded, she can't see. So now she's got to use her emotions to guide her through. Okay. But she also has a sword. They all need to work together. Okay. Right. Obviously, we want to use our logical brain as much as we can, but also our emotions. So working together, not one overly dominant than the other. Okay. But it's in reverse. All right. And then when we have it paired with the Knight of Cups in reverse, it's almost like there could have been an offer in the past that you were going to give to someone, or going to give to you, or maybe they did, or maybe you did. But perhaps it wasn't well received, or it was put on hold, or it never happened. But whatever happened around this communication, it could also have been an opportunity, a medium-sized opportunity from the universe about many different things that maybe wasn't well received, straight up didn't happen, or made somebody confused, they didn't get it. Okay. And so that could be why that Two of Swords is in reverse. Okay. So if you are not right, again, using your Hermit, your introspection, your intuition, if you're not using your strength too, right? Your physical strength, along with the Hermit being your spiritual or emotional strength, right? If you're not working with those together, with the heart chakra and the crown chakra, then it's going to be harder for you to accept an offer. Sorry, come here, get over here. It's going to be harder for you to accept an offer, or some type of communication or opportunity if you don't understand it, right? Or if it just leaves you with more questions, or leaves someone else with more questions, or multiple people with more questions, okay? But it is, we're talking about it with, right, that King of Sacred Circles in reverse. So remember, I was talking about legacy, right? What am I passing down to younger generations? Whether it's just about money and inheritance, or spiritual inheritance, or all those things, right? It could be that, I'm trying to think of the way to say it without repeating myself. It's almost like there is somebody, perhaps, right? Because this is a Cups card, right? The Knight of Cups, whether it's right side up or reverse, it's reverse. It's still a Cups card. So the Cups talk about emotions. What's in the background behind this girl, whether it's right side up or reverse? Water, emotions. Okay. So it could basically be saying here that somebody's not trusting either their own emotions, or the other person, or multiple people's emotions. There's something emotionally confusing that is having their intellect not make sense to them how they normally would. Sorry, I'm just trying to see here. It could also be We said, right, confidence, not wanting to level up in a position or area of your life, or not feeling that it's the right time for you or for someone else or multiple people. Because let's take it in the way that, remember I said it could be this Knight of Cups in reverse, that the communication or opportunity never came in at all. It was totally put on hold. So that caused, right, emotional pain, emotional confusion, all that stuff, right? But it also could be that it had a ripple effect because it was energy from the past, one of these two from the past, where then it is affecting the future, present energies possibly, but nothing's set in stone ever, right? Just reminders for this possible leveling up and passing down and taking the enlightenment in and the spiritual downloads. Perhaps it's harder to do that because there's still something that's not healed from the past, okay? Maybe it's as simple as a forgiveness of yourself, forgiveness of one person, multiple people, and yourself, vice versa, however it resonates for you. But I do feel like it's saying something about forgiveness of this opportunity or communication that maybe never came through at all, if you find yourself in that option. Okay. But it will be different for everybody. But let's keep going. All right, because we still have other cards to talk about here. So now we're going to get into your tarot confirmation cards here. So I'll go ahead and call them out in order, and then we'll go from there. So we do have your card here, Aquarius. We have the Star card. All right, that's you. Aquarius energy. We have Gemini energy with the Lovers right side up. We have Eight of Cups right side up, and we also have the Queen of Swords in the reverse position. So, sorry guys, my nose is itchy. Now, these first two confirmation cards are energy from the recent past, whatever that means for you. And then the last two are more future, current, present energies, possibilities, probabilities, right? So we start off with the Star. There's you, Aquarius, all right? So since it's in the recent past, it could be that you're dealing with another Aquarius, or you are more in your own elements in some way, or it is just the general understanding of this card. So representing hope, inspiration, balancing between two worlds, right? Balancing between the physical world and balancing between the unconscious 5D spiritual world. Okay, so it's alchemy. It would also be a lot of creativity, a lot of water elements here, or blue energy. Okay, but there is definitely water, but it's in the more emotional way of understanding the water, right? Because normally in other decks you would see her standing with one foot in the water, one foot on land, much like the Temperance card. But she's taking that water, her emotions, and she's channeling it into something creative, something inspired and hopeful for the future. Okay. So anyway, when this Star card, the Aquarius energy, comes in here, it's going to be confirming the King of Staves right side up, the World in reverse, and the Two of Staves right side up here. Okay. So you could say for these two, it was definitely confirming this energy. Okay. And then, because we'll do it one by one here, but for the World in reverse, I would say it could be almost like a reminder to yourself here, Aquarius, or to the other person or multiple people, general environment. Why are you resisting change when you know it's not going to be all bad all the time? Change can also be beautiful. It can be inspired, okay? It can make you inspired, make others inspired. It can be creativity. It can be getting in touch with your emotions, and embracing all of those things so you can move forward. So here I would say it wants to be, because this is energy from the recent past, and this is more future, current energies of that first week or so of April, right? Where There's a little bit of that stagnant energy and slowing down and too much change happening. But here it could just be simply saying, that life is change, right? Whether we embrace it or not. So if you need to, go on that break, that spiritual break or spiritual rest or retreat, or even if it's not spiritual, maybe you need to take a nap or take better care of yourself, or other people do, vice versa, whatever. So then you can get back on track here. All right. Now, when you put it with the star card is coming in and confirming the King of Staves and the Two of Staves, right, or the Wands. Okay, it's saying yes. If you want the passion, the creativity, the courage, if you want the support from your support system, if you want to step into your own power, or they do, vice versa, right? Then you need to embrace your emotions in a positive way, or they do. Okay, to find that hope and inspiration for the future and the creativity. All right. And then also, if you want to have in your slower moments that energy of the hermit, right? Finding your own intuition, but also doing research and getting advice from others before making a decision or going back out into the world in some way. It's like, well, what does it mean to be creative to myself? What does it mean to be creative to somebody else? Okay, vice versa. And how can I, again, channel those emotions, the water, in a positive way to get re-inspired, to feel like myself again, to feel like their selves again, right? To get into that Aquarius energy, okay? Now, moving forward, when we have the Lover's card in the right side up position, that's the Gemini energy, as your second tarot confirmation card, and this is energy from the recent past again. This represents some type of sacred union, okay? It is like an equal give and take. It is higher vibrational union, right? So it's much like the Two of Cups in the tarot. So they're each giving each other the same amount of energy. And it can be a romantic union, it can be a work partnership, it can be with friends or family, or even a union of different parts of yourself coming together in terms of self-love, your shadow side coming in, right? Or you embracing your shadow side, or someone embracing your shadow side, perhaps, right? Doing their inner work. But this is a high vibrational frequency, so they bring out the best in each other. It could be about two people, it could be about two companies, it could be about just two energies in general. But when this energy, this complementary energy from the recent past, right, it came in and it's confirming the Hermit right side up, the Two of Sacred Circles right side up, and the Five of Sacred Circles right side up. So all of these cards are in a very nice complementary position here, okay? And it paves the way, right? Perhaps it was a catalyst. And it could be multiple unions, right? When I said it could be romantic, it could be work, it could be friends, family. It could be more than one, for sure, coming in here and wanting to support you or support someone or support multiple people with their own intuition, trusting themselves, their inner guidance system, their gut reactions to things, right? It could also be that this sacred union or sacred multiple unions coming in here and they want to have you work on your abundance, your money, your love, your health. They want you to feel safe to call out to the bear spirit, whether it's a bear or another person or energy or corporation, whatever, right? Even though mainly I feel like most corporations are evil, but just saying as an example, okay? But not everybody, right? Not all corporations, hopefully. But, this is like a very supportive energy. It's like, yeah, why not call out to the bear spirit or to friends, family, lovers, mental health care workers, etc., if they can help you prepare for the hard storm, the long winter, prepare your resources, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, all those things. And then, of course, also the sacred, the higher vibrational unions that we're talking about from the recent past, they also want to come in here and be like, if you need to take a break from the group, okay, whether it's energetically, spiritually, physically, do that. If you need to go talk to the shaman, if you need to go talk to your doctor, or somebody that you look up to that has more knowledge in one area of your life, go do that. That's kind of how I feel it's what it's saying here. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Now, moving forward, when we talk about your last two confirmation cards, this is again more future, current, present energies. We start with your third one being the Eight of Cups in the right side up position. Now, this is an energy of needing to take a break. This lady is like, I don't know what's going on with my emotions. I don't know what's in my cups. I don't know what's in the water. Okay, so the water and the cups represent the emotions. So this is not a good or bad card. That's the way that I see it. She just needs to take a break to figure it out. And what do we have there? The full moon in the background. Okay, but also the crescent moon, so the new moon. All right, so all the moons. So it could be, again, referencing the new moon that we're in now, right now, the new moon in Aries, or it could be the full moon coming up on April 16th, the full moon in Libra. Doesn't have to be. It could just be a combination of energy of being like, anytime we have a new moon, or even a full moon, but more so, I meant to say full moon is a combination of energy. That's when the moon is the fullest. So around any type of full moon, our energies or emotions can feel more dramatic, right? Or more at its fullest point, okay? So maybe it's just saying here that if you find yourself in that energy or another person does, that there's nothing wrong there's nothing wrong with taking a break, okay? To kind of get in touch with yourself and get in touch with your emotions, their emotions, everybody's emotions. But as long as it is in a way that is compassionate or empathetic or coming from more of wanting to understand, then I don't see anything wrong with that, right? But this is always a choice. Everything is always a choice. But this is coming in here and it's going to be confirming the Strength card right side up, the Princess of Cups in reverse, and the King of Sacred Circles in reverse, okay? So for these two, right, it would definitely be some reminders on how we can possibly flip those cards to now the right side up. But here with the Strength card, just like I was saying, there's nothing wrong with needing to take a break and figure some stuff out emotionally. Actually, some of the strongest people do that, okay? And so, whether you see that progress or you know about that process or progress happening, like some of the really strongest, more abundant, professional, healthy, wealthy people, whatever you want to, people who have all the love in their life, they're going to do that, okay? Or they already are, or etc. All right. Now, when this Eight of Cups is confirming the Princess of Cups in reverse and the King of Sacred Circles in reverse, yeah, I feel like it's saying, okay, so you didn't turn the light on yet, perhaps. You don't want to look at something from an emotional, different point of view yet. You don't want to level up yet, or another person doesn't want to or is having a hard time, vice versa. Okay, what do you need to do? You need to take a break. You need to figure out, again, these are two cups. These are two emotion cards, okay? They both have water, right? So let's take a break. Somebody needs to take a break to ask. What I always tend to say in my readings is when we talk about the cups cards, what makes me emotionally happy and fulfilled? What are my emotional boundaries? What are my emotional priorities, right? When the cup is right side up, it's not reverse. It hasn't spilled over, okay? So maybe it's just getting in touch with asking those questions for you yourself or asking it of another, okay? And then when we put it with the King of Sacred Circles in reverse, yeah, if we don't take a break to ask those questions, we're not going to get the spiritual downloads, the enlightenments, the revelations, oh, I finally get it, I finally see, oh, I finally understand my worth and what I'm going to pass down to others, whether it's, again, money, love, health, wealth, all those things, okay? So again, if you don't take that time, or the other person doesn't, or multiple people, then it's harder to manifest and be abundant, right? It's harder to Play your own song. Play, what is it? Play the beat of your own drum or make your own music, right? If he was right side up. Okay. Now your very last confirmation card, because I know we're getting late here on the time, but it's okay. It's all divine timing. We have now another queen, but she's in reverse. The Queen of Swords in the reverse position, and this is in the more future, current, present energies, possibilities, right? So from the last confirmation card. So here, she's going to come in and confirm the same ones we just did going vertically, but maybe it's slightly differently. But let's talk about what she means in reverse, right? So she is talking about, I don't feel supported. My back is not on the chair when I'm upside down. I don't feel emotionally clear-headed and able to make logical decisions with my crown chakra because my sword is reversed, okay? So this doesn't have to mean that it necessarily goes down that way, but it is a reminder or it's kind of present here. But it also means somebody, again, maybe doesn't want to be a leader or take on a leadership role or step into their own power and be confident in some way because there is still something possibly confusing them, okay, or confusing you or confusing multiple people. But this Queen of Swords in reverse comes in here and it is confirming the Strength card right side up, the Princess of Cups in reverse, and that King of Sacred Circles in reverse again. So the one thing I forgot to mention too, if this Queen of Swords was right side up, is she's kind of known as like cutthroat, okay? She can be seen or written about as being really cold, detached, and calculated, like she has no emotions because she is the Queen of the Swords, right? So she only uses her intellect. So when the Queen of Swords is in reverse, it could also be for some that you don't want to be completely just using your logical mind and not using your emotions. You don't want to be seen as a cold-hearted bitch, right? As an example, you want to still be humble, right? You want to be in a position of authority or leadership or stepping into your own power, but still not let it get to your head, right? You still want to be in touch with your emotions in certain ways and with others, okay? So then when it comes in here and it's confirming the Strength card, yeah, it's like I can be physically strong, but I can be weak on the inside. So why don't I do a little bit of both just to like cover all of my bases here, right? And that is not just talking about women, right? Or gender in general. It's just the metaphor of the card, okay? Now, when this Queen of Swords is coming in here and confirming the Princess of Cups in reverse, it's like, yeah, if I don't know what makes me emotionally content and happy, fulfilled, or the other person doesn't, or multiple people don't, general environment situation, how can we then turn this card around and get the support system, get lean back on the chair, someone standing behind you to help you be more abundant, healthy, have more love, wealth, good health, business, career, etc., right? Again, kind of asking those questions with the cups, with the emotions, and having it go together with the intellect and the logical mind. Now here, when the Queen of Swords in reverse is confirming the King of Swords, the King of Sacred Circles in reverse, it's almost like, yeah, same thing. They're both royalty if they were right side up, even though one is Pentacles and Sacred Circles and one is Swords. They're both royalty and they're both reversed. Okay, so if you want to, again, step into your power, be a leader, pass things on to others, be open to the spiritual downloads, revelations, insights, okay, you have to work with your intellect, right? Because I've said this before, you know, as far as not in this reading, maybe in the same way, but when we use our intuition, or even if you had the High Priestess, right, the intuition, is also part of our intellect. It may feel more emotional, but um, our brain still has to tell us that, right? So it's like, I don't know. It all has to be working together. Is basically the best way I can say it. All right. So hopefully you got something from that, and that makes sense to you. So it's just like I said, gentle reminders, things to think about. It's not the end of the world or anything like that. So real quickly before we go, let's get into some more lighter information. Hopefully here. Let's do your oracle cards. All right. So this is your love oracle message for this time period, Aquarius, whether you're watching for romantic love or platonic love with friends or family or self-love, all those things, right? Your love oracle message is make the effort. And it says, great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And you see these cute little kids there together. How cute is that? All right, so I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory for all the different kinds of love. And then your last oracle card is from the Rumi or Remy, depending on how you pronounce it, oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. And so Rumi, that's the way I like to say it. He was a 13th century Persian poet. And so she's taken some of his poetry and put it together with this great artist to make these beautiful oracle cards. All right. So your Rumi oracle card for this time period is card number 23, and it's Star Mother Arcadius. I think it's how you say it. Arcadius. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Okay. So hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And this one's really pretty. Sometimes they're very abstract, but here you can definitely see some type of female figure here, since it says Star Mother and she's up in the stars there. So I'll read really quickly the short poem and just maybe like 2 or 3 sentences for a meditation if you want to get into this energy. All right, but I'm not going to read everything in here. Okay, so here we go. Star Mother Arcadius. Okay, I don't know how to say it, but we'll go with that. Okay. Be the king who has made his own kingdom. Be the moon that has be the moon that has made her own summit. How much longer will you cuckoo like the pigeon? Empty your head of all moral lusts and become life without breath. You will not call out for God anymore, for you have become immersed in God. Your star mother, Arcadius, dances with your soul on the celestial inner planes. She dances in the embrace of Father Sky, shining white and pale, deep in devotion to the light behind all that is. Arcadius, dancing star of the heavens, ignites our souls to feel the rhythm of life and surrender to it in its flow, in grace, in stumbling, and in play. Like a child who thinks not of the right steps, but just moves with the music and with joy, she reminds you to dance freely and from your heart. She reminds you that your soul is constantly dancing with the divine. What better way to connect with the joy and beauty of your soul than to mimic its movements? So dance, beloved, let your being dance. O Arcadius, your bright beauty penetrates even the darkest of minds to remember, remember, remember. She calls out, her voice is music to our hearts. You are a child of heaven, you are born of such regal stuff. Dear dancing child of the stars, when you suffer, I send you comfort as stars falling from the sky. When you triumph, my dance becomes wild and light erupts from my heart in all directions. The light becomes music, stirring within you an urge about, I'm sorry. The light becomes music, stirring within you an urge almost inexplicable and yet so very deep and real, to make music, to create art, to dance, to play, to be at one with the joyful creative energy that dwells within you, oh beloved. Okay, that's beautiful. Sorry, I was having a hard time reading that one last part there. But that's really nice. I love this. So let's see what it says here for the little meditation real quickly. So for the sacred honoring ritual meditation, it says, open your hands up above your head and say, through unconditional love and divine mercy, through the blessings of the ancient master and sages, including Brother Rumi, who loves without condition, I call upon the blessings of the stars, the remembrance of my divine heritage. Oh my God, are we talking about heritage? That's so weird. Okay. Let me go back for a second. The remembrance of my divine heritage and the gift of spiritual success. I call upon the assurance of my soul's triumph and the luminous embrace of the Holy Mother. I honor my soul's need for art and expression and for creativity now. From a pure and loving place within me, so be it. And then it says, you have finished your sacred honoring ritual. So I didn't even know. That's so funny. It says, the remembrance of my divine heritage. And we were talking about inheritance or inheriting things or passing things down, right? With that King of Sacred Circles in reverse. So I feel like this oracle card just flipped it for you right there. Gave you a little meditation on how to flip that energy, whether it's for you yourself, Aquarius, or another person in your world, okay? So anyway, if you want to learn more about this card, you can just look it up. It's the Elena Fairchild Rumi or Remy Oracle deck, card number 23. But yeah, that is your reading here, dear Aquarius. And as always, thank you guys so much for your energy, for your shares, for reviews, and for your subscriptions, right? They're all great free ways to support the channel here. So thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, all you have to do is click on the bottom bell icon. It's free, and just make sure it's blue and active when you click on it, and it'll just notify you when I put out new readings. But yeah, other than that, you guys take care, and hopefully we either come back with Pisces a little later tonight. If not tonight, definitely tomorrow. So thank you guys so much, and enjoy this time period, and I'll see you later. All right, bye.